everybody. Welcome to Roll to Talk, where we're just gonna, like, you know, be a bunch of goofy goobers and just talk about DD. Oh, God. Oh, that sounded bad. No, don't take that out of context. D&D and TTRPG content and ways to do it. Oh, sweet baby Jesus. I'm so sorry.
The goofy goobers are strong right out the gate today.
Woo! I swear I took my ADHD medicine today. I swear. But yes, hello, I am Dice&Autism, he, they. You guys know me on the internet for telling sad and goofy stories. And this is my co-host, Wittyxwitch. Say hi.
Hi! I'm Wittyxwitch, also known as Abby, and I go by she, they pronouns.
Yeah. Sorry for butchering your username there. So
Wittyxwitch is close enough.
Yeah. All right, cool beans. Okay, so today's episode, we are going to be talking about role-playing. This is my favorite aspect in any tabletop RPG because...
And it's kind of quintessential to the genre.
It very much is. It is the three pillars of D&D tabletop RPG. And as you can see, we have a cat here who agrees everything. She's demanding pets. But yeah, it is. It's like exploring, role playing, and is combat also a pillar? I wouldn't say. Yeah.
I would argue that it is, or at least the mechanics to enable that.
Oh yeah, definitely. But yeah, role playing is one of the big features of it because it's in the name of the game. You got to have it in there and everything. You're playing a very different character and everything, so you're going to be a little goofy, a little out of like your own like personal character, and just acting and having fun and everything. It's make believe, but just with adults.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And sometimes adultish content, which we can we talked a little bit about in our safety tools episode as well, with Fade to Black and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, definitely.
But yeah, it's like if anyone is listening to this and has never played a tabletop RPG, first of all, thanks for finding us. How did you find us? But if you have never played one and maybe you don't know what that means, it basically is acting. It is that, you know, embodying this character, playing as this other character, as you said, playing make-believe. And there's like a bunch of different ways to do that. Some of it is in your dialogue. Some of it is if you're doing like a LARP or a, you know, live action role play, then you're able to kind of dress as and more embody the character. But if you're just playing at a table, you're sitting down most of the time. Like, you know, we're not doing sick flips, mostly because a lot of us aren't gymnasts.
Oh yeah.
But like what? And so with that, like, one of my favorite things to do with roleplay, because like I'm not always the quickest on the draw when it comes to dialogue, I like to describe what my character does. And how they move in the world. And so I was literally playing a game the other day and didn't say anything in character, but I described how my character looked at another character and the message that was conveyed in my eyes in that moment.
Oh yeah. Yeah, you don't have to like say anything or like all that jazz to like be effective in roleplay. Like even describing your actions and your body language and the tone of your voice and everything is role playing. That's that extra spice that just makes everyone go, ooh, muy caliente. I like it. It's got that zestiness.
Yeah, and it lets you really like explore aspects, because I mean I think all of us put a little bit of ourselves into our characters, and I again very very much laughing at one of my characters who is a lot like me in a lot of ways, but also likes hunting and camping and is outdoorsy, which is very not like me. And so part of that role play and existing in another character and another person for me is making sure that character goes outside.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's very much like that, and just kind of like having the kind of like core principles of like the role play traits for your character that you can kind of rely on, and then as like the session goes on and like the campaign goes on, everything you can build off and branch and evolve with it goes and everything. And sometimes it goes like a circle, one of those roundabouts things, and sometimes it's those zigzags. Highway things that just go
and I think too, one thing is like even in like a dungeon crawl, which dungeon crawls are notorious for not really inviting roleplay. Because they're more mechanical, they're more combat focused or skill focused, and so you don't really do a lot of RP in dungeon crawls. However, if you are the type of person in a dungeon who is like, is there treasure here? Is there a pot or something I can crack, a la Zelda?
Yeah.
You know, like when you hang out with your friends, when you hang out with real people, you start to notice habits. And even just what is my character gonna look for first in a room is a habit that then people can jump on and RP later. So if I'm always looking for treasure and we come across a treasure chest but I don't see it, the other party members might say, oh, Abby's character, there's treasure for you here.
Yeah.
Or if you were like, if you're outdoorsy and an animal lover, like, is there a dog I can pet somewhere?
Yeah.
Hey, I found a dog for you.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And you can get these you get these really wonderful like inter-party moments because then your party members are noticing what you're doing. And then you get like, it's like, oh, well, I actually really like this character that my friend is playing, so I'm going to go find them a puppy to pet. And then you have this very sweet moment.
Yeah. It's very much. It kind of like reminds me very much of like the small details for your role play and everything. The small little moments you put in there, and to me, those small little moments are a lot more impactful than like the big aura farming hype moments that you will probably see from like some clips of like people's actual plays and stories on social media and stuff and everything, because that carries on. That's just like that what people remember. Everyone's gonna have like the big highlights and everything, but what's gonna make a character and role playing a lot easier is like having those little moments of like expression of your character to like really solidify them and make them three-dimensional. Yeah. Okay. So we talked about a little bit of like waste roleplay and everything, kind of like with like describing movements, gestures, and like dialogue and stuff.
Also, who cooks?
Yeah, like describing how they cook and everything.
Like just who does it?
Yeah. Definitely.
You don't want your party starving. So who is the caretaker? Who cooks?
Oh yeah. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. And if you were like, because I'm a bit of like a food person and everything. I tend to like watch like the Food Network every once in a while, and I'm just like, God, it would be so cool to role play like a chef character and like have like these fun role-playing moments with like the party members and NPCs with like food, and be kind of like have like a communication of language with food and everything. That'd be really, really cool.
My sister did play a character one time. I forget if they were an artificer or a wizard or both. But anyway, they had a cauldron that was a gumbo pot, and that was their spellcasting focus, was a gumbo pot cauldron.
Oh God! Please tell me they had like a gumbo familiar or something.
I do not think she had a familiar.
Dang it! Yeah. Oh, that's so cool. But yeah, and yeah, those are pretty much like the basic like waste roleplay. Is there anything other ways to like roleplay you thinking of? Just like maybe like taking like core aspects of like typical like class traits, and then maybe kind of like reflecting that onto a character, and kind of like, all right, how would this character take the core traits of these like classes they're assigned to, and kind of go like, all right, how does this reflect me, or how does this connect to me or something?
Yeah, I mean, kind of to the cooking point, like there is a feat in D&D called chef. And so you can have these mechanical bonuses and buffs and things that, if you want to RP that kind of way, you can basically min-max your RP. And then like if you are playing a game that is, oops all rogues, oops all bards, whatever, then you sort of have to decide in your party who is going to be skilled at what, who is going to take point on different topics of conversation, who's going to be the face of the party, who's going to be the charmer, the strategist, like all these different things, because then you start stepping on people's toes and no one feels distinct.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And I do feel like this is one of the things that D&D kind of fails at. It is really hard to do multiple of the same class and have them feel distinct.
Okay. Yeah, well, I was going to say, like...
Mechanically speaking, when you RP.
Mechanically speaking, I think, like, the best one that could possibly be distinct with another is probably, like, Cleric. Because they're all, like, very much like, all right, here's your domain. This is what all of the stuff and all for and everything.
Right.
Boom, bam, bizzle. But, like, yeah, like, and all with other classes, it's kind of like, wishy-washy, blendy, and everything. But,
I remember I did a game that was mostly rogues, not all rogues, but mostly rogues, and I think there were 7 players, and I think 4 of us were rogues.
Okay,
it was wild. But that was one of those moments where almost repeatedly we would all stealth, we would all do survival checks, and it didn't make a lot of sense as to why we were all doing the same thing.
Yeah.
Especially because our character backstories were wildly different.
Yeah.
But again, D&D does not really foster enough skill checks, I think, to have these differences. Whereas like the Dragon Age or the Age system has focuses, which are basically skills. And so then you have... And you don't pick up a bunch. Like, you pick up one here and there. So you really have to get clear on what it is you want to be good at.
Yeah, definitely. I'm trying to think. I think Vampire the Masquerade really helps out with, like, easing a person. I would say, if you want to, like, try to up your role-playing stuff and, like, get a little more juicier into your, like, role-playing, pun intended, because vampires,
Haha. Oh, no.
Oh, what the hell? Oh, there we go. We're back. Okay. Glitches. Okay. Yeah. But yeah, okay.
Vampire the Masquerade getting juicy.
Yeah,
and then
juicy.
I think you cut off there.
Yeah, because I feel like Vampire the Masquerade is very much a role-playing, mechanic-centric game and everything. It's not really combat. It's not really all that jazz and everything. It's very much like, hey, we have abilities that are really going to help you focus on like your role-playing aspects and everything. You can use them with any social interactions you do and everything. And it really encourages you to, like, really dive deep into your character and, like, go ahead and, like, the decisions that you make really is defined by what role-playing choices you do in that scenario.
Exactly. Yeah, there's tons of different ways to really, like, just make that work on a mechanical level. And D&D does it, too. I just don't think it does it well.
Yeah, like... I think, like, 5e was, like, a pretty good start with, like... Because 5e, that was the system that got me into D&D and everything. Like,
yeah.
I was enjoying it because it was like a nice blend of everything and all that stuff. And it was a little bit of everything, and it didn't want to, like, favor anything to be kind of, like... all that, which is like, all right, safe choice, understandable. But with, like, 24 came out and everything, and how it was pretty much, like... combat focus, and a lot of the new abilities were just like combat and everything. I was disappointed because my favorite aspects of like skills, spells, feats is when they are not used in combat. Like, oh god.
I will say, speaking of the 5e to 2024 rules for D&D, is the backgrounds and how those changed.
Oh, yeah.
Because I thought there was a lot of really good roleplay potential in
definitely.
the 5e backgrounds that kind of went underutilized.
Oh, yeah.
Like, having the noble background feature of people always want to, like, make you happy and please you, and if you have the acolyte background, you can always stay at a temple for free.
Yeah.
Like... There was tons of things, but we always just kind of went to the tavern and called it a day.
Yeah.
And so I do think that the 2024 shift to basically give you, like, a feat. Like, I have a wizard right now who has healing magic because I took Cleric Initiate.
Yeah.
And that makes that wizard more fun to me because it makes them more distinct from just Gandalf 2.0.
Yeah.
But I do think that that does kind of, it did sacrifice a bit of RP because we lost out on these built-in features. But again, you can just kind of make that up as you go.
That is true.
You know, you don't have to have a feature written in code to decide, oh yeah, you can stay at the temple for free.
Definitely. Oh god, I remember. I think maybe early D&D TikTok or something. People were kind of bashing on like the background feeds or something. Or maybe it was like some part of the other internet and everything. But I was just like, this is kind of like a useless mechanic and everything. And I felt bad because I was like, no, it's not. It kind of gives you kind of like a base start of where to go and build and everything.
Yeah, maybe a hot take, but if the background feature was useless, that is user error.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Like, I guess it's user error, and I think like, I don't know, maybe Wizards could have done like a better job, kind of like
Sure.
like designing it and kind of like making it more kind of like maybe a little bit more other features that can like really affect with your character and stuff, because there's like one or two things and everything, and the rest of it were like potential character traits that you can roll or choose between them and stuff, which is like, yeah, that's like a nice help and everything. But I think if it was just kind of like more kind of like a mechanic, if that was like tied into like also your class, that was kind of like, here's kind of like a set structure of like things you could also choose to like customize your character, I think that will probably make it a lot more not digestible, more appealing for players and stuff.
Perhaps.
Yeah.
But yeah. So what are some of your favorite ways to like sink into roleplay and feel comfy with it? Because I do feel like roleplay and acting both come with a certain level of stage fright, regardless of the stage.
Oh yeah, definitely. All right, so I'm an actor. I've been in theater since I was a kid and everything, and like done a lot of shows and all that stuff. And like for me, it's always the fun idea of like playing a different person and just like exploring that playground and stuff. Just kind of like diving into them, like, all right, what makes them click, what kind of like gets them in there and everything. And I'm also a writer, and like my fun way to do is just like kind of just like this is gonna sound weird, but I will just kind of like verbally kind of like physically have like 5 minutes of like improv to myself. I'll pretend of like monologuing as a character and figuring out their tics, their dialogue, speech pattern and everything, and just kind of like their personality. And then I'll build like several other like characters and kind of like see like, all right, how are they gonna what's the chemistry gonna be like, how they interact with like certain scenarios and stuff. It's very much kind of like figuring out all that things. And like I think what could really help out with that is just also the first thing is to not be afraid. It's scary, but it's okay to be scared when it comes to role playing, because it is acting, and acting is very scary. But it's okay just to take a little leap, just dive, not dive, because if you dive, you're probably going to cause a lot of problems. Just like walk into the pool a little bit, like the shallow end of the pool, get accustomed to the temperature and stuff and everything, and then just be like, all right, cool. I've tried out little bits of like acting and role playing for my character. I want to add a little bit more to it. So what are the other layers and like frostings and spices I can do to make it a little bit more whew.
And I think that's very fair, especially if you are like just starting out. You can assume that your character does not know the other party members, the other player characters very well. You probably have met on the road and just started adventuring. And so, yeah, like you don't know these people. Like you're not just gonna come right out and spill all your beans to people you don't know. And so I think in that scenario, that's a really good time to describe what you do as opposed to what you say. And maybe your character is an untrusting edgelord who doesn't want to talk to people, and maybe that's the vibe. In which case, kind of figure out where's the limit of when that becomes annoying. I tend to have a rule of 3.
Yes.
Which is if a character asks, the edgelord, like, oh, what's your deal? What's your traumatic backstory? 3 times, you have to give them something.
Yep.
You don't have to give them the whole thing.
Oh yeah.
But you have to give them something.
Yeah.
You cannot consistently roleplay a character that says, I don't know you well enough to share yet. Yeah. Because at a certain point, you have to share or we don't have a game.
Oh yeah.
But all that to say is that, like, especially starting out, you can, as you warm up to role playing, you can also have your character warm up to the party and be more forthcoming and share more as you go.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was like,
Go ahead.
I was like, one of the things I like to do a lot as well, is especially to figure out like who my character is like there's a long questionnaires of like, what's your character's favorite color? Who's this person that's important to them? I don't personally find those very helpful. Sometimes I'm like, oh, I didn't think about that, and like, yeah, her favorite color's green or blue or whatever. But I do feel like the critical piece that I need to know is, why is she I usually play female characters, that's why I'm consistently using she. But why is my character adventuring? Why have they left home? And how do they feel about the circumstances under which they left home? And to me, that is the, like, if you write nothing else in your backstory, that is what I think you need.
Yeah, definitely. When you were like when you said it's about the questionnaire and stuff, that made me think about like a method I kind of do sometimes when I got like really complex character, is that I will like self-interview them and everything. Like in my mind, I'll just be like, all right, let's do like a little podcast interview, which we're kind of doing right now and everything.
Oh no, am I your character?
Oh no, wait, no. But yeah, and just kind of like have a convo and just kind of like, this sounds weird, but just when you're a creative, crazy person and everything, you do some crazy methods and everything, but it's all kosher. It's all kosher, I swear.
I will say too, on the DM side, one of the things that for me as a player that helps me really sink into roleplay is if the DM can really give me the expectations for the world. Is magic rampant? Are people scared of magic? You know, how integrated are the different species or races of this fantasy world? Do elves, dwarves, tieflings, humans all live together, or are they more like Lord of the Rings in their isolated pockets? Like, knowing kind of what to expect from the world lets me really sink into that world and respond accordingly. I do think it's really hard if it's just generic fantasy setting, and I'm like, okay, are we talking generic fantasy like Lord of the Rings or Narnia, or like which generic fantasy are we going with? And I think especially if you are going to do a homebrew world, you really need to do some work to just be clear of what to expect.
And if you are definitely struggling as a player with role playing and everything, feel free to talk with your DM. They want to help you out and everything. They just like say like, hey, I'm not good at like role playing and everything. I don't know how to like organically like make like these role playing moments like everyone else does. And the DM, a good DM, will be like, I got you, and they will provide moments for your character to like, hey, here's a opportunity for you to role play and everything and all that, and just kind of like build your confidence. Because that's the other thing. I feel like DMs, especially with like newcomers with role playing and everything, should definitely be helping and encouraging to be like, all right, well, kind of like being like the mother goose of like leading the duck.
Yes, exactly. The little train of ducklings.
The little train of ducklings to be like, all right, we are going to swim. I'm going to be right behind you. You got this. I'm going to just like, it's kind of like, I have that music from like the Aristocrats with like the two geese ladies, like, do, do, do.
Do, 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 do,
I know.
Abigail, Amelia. Yeah, I love the geese.
Oh, I love that movie so much. I watched that so many times.
It's perfect. But yeah, like to your point of a good DM will work with you. One thing that I also find helpful is your character's ideal ending and your character's worst nightmare ending. You know, like again, like I need to know for my own characters why they left home and how they feel about the circumstances under which they left home. I also like to know what is starting out, and this will change, so, you know, all that, but when they start adventuring, what is their end goal? If you get to have it exactly your way, and you were writing this little novel and they get a happy ending, what is that happy ending? If you're writing a novel and you get the bad ending, what is that bad ending? And that is good information for your DM to have, because then they can throw bad ending nuggets at you to really cause tension. But they also know where to go for the good ending, what you are working towards.
Yeah.
And then it's very interesting when you get the good ending, like in Disney's Hercules. When Hercules gets the good ending of becoming a god again and going back to live on Mount Olympus. But by the time he reaches the end of the movie, he's decided he wants to stay on Earth with Meg.
Yeah.
So his end goal, his ideal scenario changes over the course of that movie. And that's fine.
Yeah.
But you don't get the godhood part without his initial ideal scenario.
Oh yeah, definitely. That is really, really cool. I haven't thought about it that way. That is honestly really, really cool.
Yeah. And the dice may say no. The dice may kill you off. And that's okay too. But then if you have this ideal scenario or this bad ending scenario, then like, let's say you know, the typical adventurer, your family was all murdered and you have to seek vengeance, right? Very standard fare, that backstory. So if your character dies before they're able to seek vengeance, now your party could do it for you.
Yeah. The Molly Mock effect, as I like to call it.
Yes, exactly. They can say, well, we loved this friend of ours, and so we are going to do right by them since they could not do right by themselves.
Oh, God. A character that haunts the narrative when they're gone is just... it's so good.
It's the good stuff.
It's such good stuff. I think... Yeah, another thing to kind of like help out with like brain fart.
It happens to us all.
Oh yeah. Another thing that will really help to like with getting comfortable with role playing is just taking some improv classes and everything, like from communities and everything, like your local community theater and everything, and just kind of like and all that and everything, because it's like TTRPGs is just improv. It is just improv, and improv can be intimidating because when you look at improv, it's very much these bombastic choices, highly funny voices and scenarios and stuff and everything, and like making up on the fly and all that. And those three things can be very, very intimidating. But when you just kind of like start out and like find the people to like give you the advice and structure and kind of like give you your own experience and guide you through it with the games, with other people at the same level, you're going to feel a lot more comfortable and trustworthy of yourself. Oh yeah, bonus point, by the way, trust in yourself. Believe in yourself. Believe in the me that believes in you. That is a Gurren Lagann reference.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, improv is very scary. Like, I have done theater, I've done acting, and improv terrifies me to death. I am so scared of it. Yeah. But, like, you know, like, improv TM. Like, obviously I play TTRPGs. That style of improv does not scare me.
Oh, yeah.
But I feel like with, you know, improv classes, improv performances, so much of it is comedy, and I don't always feel comfortable that my jokes are going to land, that I'm going to be the funny one, and that's okay. And so I think that there is a little bit more freedom in tabletop games, because yes, it is improv, and yes, improv classes can help, but there's not the pressure to make sure that it is funny. It is what your character would do.
Yeah.
You know, I've there's that Ian McKellen video where he's like, how do I act so well? I pretend to be the person. And it seems like oversimplified, like, well, yeah, duh, but I mean, that is what's happening, is you are pretending to be that person. One of my favorite acting lessons I ever had in high school was the concept of living truthfully under imaginary circumstances. Okay. And so it's not so much like what would make this a really cool scene, it's what would my character do, and trusting that will make it a cool scene.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah, I do feel like a lot of, especially in this world of actual plays and live shows and podcasts, that there is, even in home games, a pressure to perform, and that's not what you're trying to do. You're trying to tell a story, have fun, and be somebody else.
Yeah.
If you remember the Master of Disguise movie, become another person. It's that. It's not performance in the same way that theater, movies, or improv are.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, taking off that pressure of like, oh god, I have to perform at a high quality level with like other people and everything. That's going to like hinder your experience with like role playing, and that'll be too much for you to do that. And it's just we're all here to be goofy goopers. We're all here just to be silly little people.
And like I'll say, I was on a live show last week, and I was romancing a certain NPC and was having a blast, but I also was really struggling to figure out what my character would say in that moment. And so through a lot of that, I wasn't concerned about the performance of it. I wasn't trying to think about, oh man, I'm like giggling and kicking my feet too much and not performing. I was having to sort of giggle and kick my feet in order to process what was happening so that I knew how my character would actually react.
Yeah.
And in fact, like there was a moment where the game master continued the narrative, and I had to be like, I'm actually going to stop you right there because my character's doing something different before you're able to do that. And he was like, yeah, totally, let's go.
Yeah,
and it was awesome.
Oh, awesome. I wonder, because like since last episode we talked about session 0 and safety tools and everything. I wonder if like maybe something to do, especially with new players who are nervous about role playing. I wonder if the DMs would be and the players would be all right doing like demo sessions of like role playing to get people comfortable and like have like a little like or something like that and everything, kind of like having, like a 15-minute length role playing like session and everything of kind of like here's what we can basically do and all that stuff and everything, and here's typical things you can like expect from it and all that stuff, and like kind of like test the waters and just be like a demo from a video game and everything.
Yeah. One thing that I think is really fun is role-playing icebreakers. So, at the beginning of a session, you can ask a question, like, what's a fun fact about you, or whatever. And then, in character, you answer that question.
Definitely.
And it's not like, you're not answering it in character in narrative. It is fully out of narrative. So, even if I drop this, like, deep, dark backstory lore in that icebreaker... my fellow players, my companions don't know that in narrative. But it is a way to sort of sink into that. And of course, some people will use voices. I know a lot of people who make playlists for their characters, and they listen to the playlist every single time, every single session, right before, to kind of get into that mindset. I've done that with characters that are like a little bit harder for me to sink into. I do candles as well. I had a character who was basically like a wine ant at one point. And so I had kind of a fruity cranberry wine smoky candle, and I lit that every single time I played that character.
Okay, because I was looking at the notes and I was seeing like candles. I was like, oh, is this like a role-playing tool I've never heard of or anything? Like, it's like everything, but you meant like an actual candle, which is like, all right, that's even cooler.
It's sort of like sinking your senses into what that character is experiencing. So like smells that you associate with them, sounds. If you're not into like making a playlist for your character, find like an ambience track. Okay, I've got my character that likes camping and hunting, so I need to find a woodland ambience to sort of be where she's at. Or if you're on a ship in the session that you're starting, then okay, you get ocean sounds, like stuff like that. But I do want to talk about voices real fast.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Since we've brought it up a couple times. Because again, for some people, having a character voice really helps them sink into that character. I do not feel like I am good at voices, especially like accents. It really stresses me out, and so I don't often do it. But what I do try to do, and this has been a huge help, honestly, like watching Dimension 20 and watching Brendan Lee Mulligan pause and think about what he's going to say really helped me slow down whenever I'm role-playing. And so my brain is able to catch up to what I'm trying to say a little bit better. but I also do inflections.
Yes.
So I've got 2 elven archers that I'm playing right now. I'm very original, I know.
Hey, we all have our comfort characters that we like to build. It's
exactly, and mine is an elven archer. So anyway, but one of them speaks a little bit lower than I do, and is like has a bit more vocal fry, a bit more quiet, and the other one is more like soft spoken. It has a slightly higher voice, and it sort of reflects like one of them grew up in the literal woods, and the other one is basically a court lady, and so like it helps me differentiate them, even though they are the same archetype. One of them has this more prim and proper upbringing, and therefore this more prim and proper voice, whereas the other one is more rugged, and the voice also reflects that. And it's literally just down to cadence and your tone.
Yes. I was gonna say the exact same thing. Like, if you cannot do voices, or voices aren't your forte, the underrated and backbone of like embodying a character's voice is cadence and inflection. Absolutely.
And word choice. And word choice is also important.
Oh yes.
I was playing in the Dragon Age system, and our keeper, our game master, brought in Morrigan, and if you are not familiar with the absolutely lovely voice that is Claudia Black as Morrigan, go listen to it on YouTube. She is amazing. I could listen to her voice for hours. But our DM is a guy, and so he was like, well, I'm not going to be able to sound like Claudia Black. I can't do that. And that's fair. But the way, the cadence he used, and the word choice that he used, and the intonation on certain words as well, I was like, that's Morrigan, baby, though the voice was his own voice.
Definitely. I'm all right with voices and everything. Accents are a little bit hard for me and everything, but I always go with like cadence and like inflection and everything, because with my actual play that I have and everything, we're kind of like we had like a big climactic moment, and we had like a character kind of like who's got like a Middle Eastern, no, not Middle Eastern, Russian accent. Yeah, I was thinking Middle East European, so that's what I was like. I apologize for that. Yeah. Okay, but yeah.
I was like, very different geographic areas.
I was like, wait, hold on, that's not right. It was very Russian. That's not the correct geo. Oh God, high school, I failed you. I'm so sorry. But yeah, and I'm all right with Russian accents and everything, because I did one for speech and everything. So I was like, yeah. And immediately after that, after the character was like, I might be having a turncoat and everything, it was like, all right, here's the next character, and it was just like him kind of like having like the slimy, kind of like slick, kind of like overconfident tone and everything, and everybody knew immediately before I dropped the name, so that it would be confirmed. So I was just like, yeah.
Icon.
Yeah. But yeah, because I was going to say, oh, right. Because, I think there is pressure to do voices because actual plays are so accessible and everything. That's like the first thing people see and everything. And a lot of the times with actual plays, it is trained voice actors who have been doing it for a very, very long time, or just like very experienced like tabletop RPG players and everything. So it seems like you're kind of like comparing yourself to like these people who have all these high skill levels and everything. And like, don't do that.
And a lot of times do it for a living.
Exactly.
They don't have to do a day job that, eats their time and their energy. And, they can afford, or some of them don't have kids, some of them do, and can afford care for those kids. Like, it is okay that you do not have the time to practice the way that they do.
Yeah, definitely. It's going at your own pace, whatever makes you feel comfortable, and you will reach a good level just by going at it, what's just like at your flow and at your pace and everything. And just trusting your own instincts.
One other thing we should probably mention is, I guess, the dice's instinct, which sometimes does not align with yours.
No.
So then, like, what are your favorite ways to role play a failed roll? Like, especially if you have this character that's like, let me show you how it's done, I'm so good at this, and that's a one.
Oh God, I love when the dices tell me no, that's not going to happen for your character, because that provides an excellent opportunity to see how a character reacts to their own failure. Well, failure to like something they couldn't do, or just like circumstances out of the control and everything, and that provides like really cool insight for like a character to roleplay and character development for everyone to see and everything. Because yeah, we would all want to succeed on our roles and everything, but what makes more like an interesting character is to see how they fail and be like, all right, I failed at that. I failed at this as well. How can I stack the deck to like succeed in this next one? And will the gods of fate and dices let me get to it?
I think one thing that's very fun is this is especially true of bards, but it is true of every archetype. Is I'm so good at this. I'm so good at this. Trust me, guys. I'm so good at this. And you're not. You are lying and bluffing because you're just, and for whatever reason, your dice just decided that you are lying and bluffing about being good at any of the stuff you've claimed.
Oh yeah, yeah. Oh God, it's the saying goes: the dice tell a story.
I also think, again, this is, I think of bards in this, but this applies to everybody, is if you're trying to, flirt or seduce or just, ooze charisma,
Oh yeah.
that person might just not be into you.
Oh God, that
And then you can kind of break it up. It's like, okay, are they not into you because of gender preferences? Are they not into you because they caught a weird vibe? Are they not into you because they are committed elsewhere and taken? Like, there's so many different ways to sort of play with that. And then, especially, and again, if you're trying to do this flirt and you get rejected, are you taking that one on the chin, or are you going to cry over your tankard of ale and your friends,
God.
your party members are going to be like, it's okay, there's plenty of fish in the sea. What a loser.
God, that is like my favorite bit in any tabletop RPG. When someone says like, "Oh, I'm gonna seduce. Oh, look at that, nat 20, automatically succeed," and the DM is just like, "Yeah, doesn't happen. What? Why not?" It's like, just not into you. And so it's like very much the DM is just kind of like not setting up like hard concrete walls, but more kind of like those fun house walls that are a little bit flexible and everything. They're just like, all right, yeah, I see where you're going, but we have some established things here, so let's see how you're going to react to this and everything with that solid line in there.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And it makes great interpersonal, inter party role play as well. Because again, it's not just how you react to failure; it's how your party members react to you failing as well.
Yeah, kind of like the whole like locked door when Critical Role with. Just had that whole bit of them all failing at like lock picking the door and everything. That was
oh my god, iconic.
I love that bit because it was Scanlan, Vex, and Percy all dealing with that door, right? And they were all having their own methods of like trying to open it, and Vax and Liam O'Brien just kind of like looking there, like, I'm a rogue. I should be able to pick the lock. What the fuck is wrong with this door? And just him having like this almost crisis of faith of like, ah!
Yeah.
That is just juicy.
But yeah.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much we all got to talk about today. Is there
Pretty
any
much.
other like closing remarks about role playing that you want to like say or anything?
Pretty much just, start at your own pace, make choices, and feel confident in those choices because everybody else is just as scared as you.
Exactly. Yeah, and for me, I'm gonna like reaction to all of that stuff you said, and also I think this is also an important one to do. Play a character that you are comfy with.
So true.
Play a character that you are comfy with. Because if you're playing an archetype, well, if you first dive into an archetype of character that you're kind of like, well, I know this archetype of character because I've seen it in media and everything. It's like, I'm familiar with it. But as if you're playing with it and you're like, yeah, I don't feel comfy with the decisions I have to make with this character and all that stuff.
Change the character.
Change the character. Just change it. Because your comfortability is going to be most important, and that comfortability is going to make your character and performance and like role playing so much smoother and easier. So
Yeah, Whether that means that you're playing a character that's very like yourself or very different from yourself, just whichever one is more comfortable to sink into.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And, yeah, I think that's about it. So,
That's
friend, thank you for hanging out with me with this lovely, lovely podcast. Yeah.
You got it.
Yeah, and thank you, lovely viewers and listeners, for listening to us and everything. I hope you're all having a fantastic day. Oh, wait, we gotta do social shoutouts. Because that's important. We gotta do that. Okay, all right, you guys can find this, it's gonna be, like, it will be on the YouTube and everything on the channel of Dice and Autism and everything. Don't know where to put for podcasts and stuff. I'm gonna do research, but by the time this releases, I will have figured it out. So, future me, I believe in you. But yeah, socials, Dice and Autism, everything, all that jazz. I'm mostly here on YouTube because I've kind of left TikTok because. But yeah. Also, go follow Wittyxwitch at all their socials and everything. If you want to like plug any of that stuff or any projects that you're working on and everything.
Depending on when this goes up, you can find me on World Tree Quest. You can find me on Star Ravens and Dicey Tables podcast. We'll depending on when this goes up and when all the rest of those are up. So, but those are the ones I'm on at the moment. So, it's fun stuff.
Yeah. What are your social? What are the social platforms are you on?
I am on TikTok and Instagram primarily.
All right. Cool beans. So yeah, I hope you guys had a lovely, lovely day. Oh, thank you for listening, and yeah, have a great day, guys. Peace.